What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. I hope everybody's having a fabulous Tuesday. We're going to take a quick look at the charts. I'm running late this morning, so we are in a critical area, as we all know. So yeah, let's get into the chart to see what's going on. All right, guys, as always, I want to start out by saying I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion and my view of the market only. Anybody that's doing any trading or investing in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market is extremely volatile and risky. Also, keep in mind it's still a speculative market. Do not put in more than you're willing to lose. With that being said, if you're new here or you haven't already, definitely hit the subscribe button on the lower right-hand side of the screen. Click the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos. I do daily updates every single day. Also, smash the likes. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. I'm kind of curious of how the sentiment is. It's seeming pretty damn bearish right now, which, in my opinion, is a good sign. So let's look at what's going on right now. Yesterday, I think yesterday morning's video, we were right in this area. And I had said if we couldn't get back above this 99.50 range, then we were most likely headed down to the 95.80, 9600 range, which we did almost hit here. So that was pretty close target. Now, I'd look for us to come back up and retest this. If we can break through, then we'll most likely go to higher highs for, local higher highs. If we cannot break back through here, then we're most likely going to test back down to the 9600 range. And if that breaks, I would be looking for the 9320 range. And we'll take a look at the higher time frames. But if this wasn't to hold, my next target would be the 8800 range. And I'll show you why in a little bit. But as where we stand right now, the top of the bull flag, if we went up from here, is around 10,400. As you guys know, we have big resistance at the 10,900. And if that breaks, I have higher targets from there too, around the 12.5 range, which would be measured move from here. The break of that 10.9 would get us up to the 12.5 range. And as you guys know, I've been looking at this as a bull flag. That would get us out of the bull flag. But keep in mind, we could come up to this 10.9, come back down to retest the top of the bull flag, and continue up if we go up from here, that is. So that's what I'm looking at here. Let's go into the RSI and take a look at where we're at. So we were watching this falling broadening wedge, which we popped out of here, came back down, tested for support, and I had this falling broadening wedge drawn in here, which we did break out of, but we came back down in. Now I'm going to get rid of this line. And what I'm looking at here seems to be a falling wedge again. We could come all the way back down to test this resistance line right here on the RSI, which would get us down to that lower low that I just mentioned. So keep an eye on that, guys. Keep an eye on these trend lines. But we do continue up from here. Let me go into the price action. If we do continue up from here, this area right here, the top of this wedge, is most likely going to line up with this 99.50 range. And if we break through, then we could be looking for higher highs. Another thing I wanted to point out before we go into the daily is this channel right here, with this top white line being the resistance, bottom line being the support, the measured move of the breakout, depending on where we break out of that, guys. Could be around that $11,000 range. So keep that in mind. Now let's go back to the RSI and we'll go into the daily and then look at a little bit longer term price action. All right. So on the daily, we had been watching this falling wedge here. And as you can see, we came back down, tested it again, got support. So looking at this falling broadening wedge, we could pop back through, but keep an eye on this resistance line right here. Also, I want to point out we are having a little bit of hidden bullish divergence. If you look here in the daily, we're making lower lows. It's not much, but it is lower lows in the RSI. And if we look at the price action in the same areas, it's higher lows in the price action. So that's a pretty good sign there, guys, that we're still showing hidden bullish divergence in the daily. And let's go into our bigger measured moves if we break this bull flag. One more thing I want to show you on them targets, that 8800, that would be lining up with the 200 EMA on the daily. That's why that target is there. And from these two wicks here, I've drawn this trend line across. That's what gets us to around that 9300 if the 96 doesn't hold. Let's look at the higher targets. And I do want to point out, even though we had that move that made everybody paranoid yesterday, if you look at the volume right here, volume is still declining massively in this bullish formation. Bullish, in my opinion. I do believe this is a reaccumulation phase, and we are going to continue up from here. But as you know, everybody's looking at this triangle as a descending triangle, which breaks down, and the measured move off that is, you know, way down in the $7,000 range. I do think if we do break this 93, I'm pretty confident in a bounce off this 88 as this being a massive bear trap and then our move up. That's if we go down here, but either way, any of these lower targets are going to be temporary, in my opinion. Now let's look at the bigger measured moves, and then we'll go into the weekly. So if we do a measured move of the falling channel, which I believe to be a bull flag, to where we break out, that gets us around the 14,500 range would be a target here where we would get resistance here. The next target would be measuring this as a short flagpole and bringing it up to where we break out. And that gets us to about the $17,000 range. So I would expect some resistance in these areas after breaking this bull flag, which I do believe we are going to do. So, keep in mind the very bottom of this bull flag, if it decided to come down, make a fast wick, could be around the $6,000 range, guys. Highly unlikely, highly unlikely, but keep that in mind. But if it did do that, I would think that would be a huge wick, something like this over here back in 2017 or 2018. But anyways, that's what I'm looking at there. Let's go into the weekly. Start out with the RSI. And if you guys want to know how I get my end of the year target of 46,000, which I still am, it is still possible, guys. So don't doubt that yet. Anyways, lower lows in the RSI, higher lows in the price action, hidden bullish divergence. I still believe, yeah, we're still getting hidden bullish divergence, guys. So that is still very bullish to me. Now, the break of this flag is the measured move. We measured on the weekly, looking at this as the flag, with this whole thing as the flag pull, put that up to the breakout, and that gets us around the $20,000 range. If we were to hit that by November, the $46,000 target is still in play, in my opinion. As you can see, back from November 2017, we went in 3.5 weeks, we went from 8,000 all the way to 20,000. So anyone that's saying that it isn't possible, yeah, good luck to you. It is definitely possible. So anyways, let's look at Litecoin. So if you guys remember, I had these lower targets drawn in here for months now. And I did believe yesterday that this 70 was most likely going to hold, and we were going to continue up from there. But I did mention that if it did break, we were looking at the lower targets. And as you can see, we almost hit this lower target dead on. We hit about 61.69. I had it at 61.60. Now, the same thing like in Bitcoin right now we're looking at. This $70 range is going to become resistance again, so we'll keep that out there. And this should remain support. I do believe we're most likely going to come up and test this 70 first. If we can break through and make support of it, then we're going to higher highs, which we will get into the targets there when that happens. But if this was to break, guys, the next point of support is around this 54 range. Like I said, we'll have to see if we can get back above this 70 and use it as support. We won't have to look at these lower lows anymore. So let's go into the RSI and see what that's telling us. All right. in the RSI, we were looking at this rising channel, which we've broken out of. We do have a resistance line here on the RSI, so there is room to come down more. But in the price action, that most likely would just bring us back down to this to test it for support and then get a bounce from there, in my opinion. But let's look at the daily, see what that's telling us in the RSI. So in the daily RSI, it looks like we have bottomed here. And if you remember what we're watching a rising channel here, falling channel here. Oh yeah, before I go any further, guys, I want to remind you guys, definitely check out my wife's webpage. It's in the description below the video. It's inkurimage.com. I'm going to go there real quick just to show you guys the webpage. Definitely check it out. She worked hard on this and put t-shirts, coffee mugs, the Bitcoin signs that we had in the giveaway, which again, I'll be starting that giveaway again. It has not been claimed. But anyway, there's coffee mugs, hats, beer koozies. Like I said, these signs. And if there's anything you want printed on the shirt besides what there is here, she can do anything you want. So yeah, check it out, guys. That's one way to help the channel out, and you get something back instead of like most, you just donate money. But anyways, that's where I'm at with that. So let's go back to what I was talking about here. Now, like I said, we were looking at this falling wedge. We had this falling broadening wedge within it, which we broke out of this falling channel, which I believe to have been a bull trap for the traders and day traders, that is, and came back down and tested this for support. Seems to be getting support from it. Looks like we'll shoot for one more try at this 70, which in the RSI is probably going to be the top of this falling channel. If we break that, blue skies ahead. Now let's look at the daily price action. We're going to take a look at my measured move of the break of this falling broadening wedge here, which, like I said, I do believe we got a nice bounce off that, so most likely we'll continue up. But as you can see on this falling broadening wedge, we broke out of it here, came back down, tested it for support, and got support. So as long as that holds as support, this measured move, which is the width of the point where we broke out, bring it up to the breakout, and that gets us around the 170 range. So that is the target there. And do we shoot straight up? No, that does not mean we shoot straight up, guys. The other target, bigger target I was looking at, going to the weekly, and as you can see, let's get into this area. All right, so we've been watching this as a big cup and handle. Actually, we were looking at that on a daily. So I'll go back to the daily real quick. Sorry, guys. Looking at this as a big cup and handle forming, I still believe that's what's going on. With the neckline at the 147 range. And the measured move of that. Measure the cup, put it up to the break of the 147 neckline, and 270 is the measured move off that. I'll into the weekly real quick. I do believe it's still possible that we get to the over 500 by the end of the year. And that being said, that's if we can break the 147 by the end of November, beginning of December. We could have a bull run just like we did in 2017. I know many people doubt it, but if you look back here from August to September, Litecoin had a 65% drop. From June to September here, Litecoin had a 57% drop. Not as bad as people think, guys. Keep in mind, this could still happen. I still believe, in my opinion, it's going to be an extremely profitable year. So that is my opinion, not yours. If you guys like the channel and you want to subscribe, click the Crypto Savvy logo above my head. Tick the notification bells to get you notified when I post videos. I do post new videos every single day and go live a couple times a week. So that way you won't miss out on it. Hit the thumbs up. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think is going on. Most likely, most of the people are bearish out there now, but that's all right. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to check out inkurimage.com. Thanks, guys.